Okay, good morning everybody. So I'll be doing this Q&A for today earlier than planned. I was originally going to do the one, but I've got some free time right now, so I thought we'll bang it out now while it's all fresh in my mind what I'm going to talk about. So if there's any questions, put them in the comments. I'll have a look at them during this video. But today I'm going to cover some of the topics that in the survey responses when you first joined up. One of the questions was, what would you find most helpful during the challenge? What do you need most so I can best help you? There were a lot of the answers was like technique, correct form, reps, sets and all that kind of stuff, and that gets covered in the videos that get released at 6 AM on the different exercises that we are doing. So that'll be covered in there, so if you go and check that out, check those videos out. Do the exercises the best you can, post a video or a photo to be entered in the prize draw to win a spot on an 8-week drop and exercise challenge. Everybody who posts a video or a photo of any one of them exercises every day, then you'll be in that draw to win a free spot on that challenge. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later on, but for now I just want to help you with some more things that you requested in that survey. And one of them was exercises for certain body parts. Now, incidentally, the exercises that we're doing and the ones that you've got so far, like, for example, number one was the deadlift. So the deadlifts, like I've mentioned in the video, they rework the back of the legs, the bum, and also a bit of the back as well. It's a real good, pretty much all-round full body exercise. So just know that these exercises that we're doing are covering different body parts. I'm going to talk a little bit more about how you can incorporate isolation exercises in this video. Squats, they primarily work the legs and a bit of the core as well. Bench press, across the chest, the front of the shoulders, the back of the arms, that's what we're working on there. But when we come to the cables day, this is where we're going to sort of isolate different body parts. Now if you remember, yesterday's video I elaborated on machines and the difference between free weights and machines and what I suggest that would go for. And at beginner level, which a lot of you are, and just getting started, I think it's better to do free weights first. You want to be, excuse me, learning those, because really that's what's going to set you up long term for good overall health, is to being able to do free weights. Now what you can do, apart from the barbells and the dumbbells, especially if you're in a gym, it's going to be more suited in a gym unless you've got a cable machine at home, is to use the cables for different body part exercises. For example, which I'll show you again, this is going to get demonstrated in more detail when we do the cables and the stomach day. I'll elaborate more on that. I know some of you mentioned about stomach exercises as well, which again I'll touch on those specific videos, so make sure you look out for them. With the cables, we can do lots of different things by staying on the feet for a lot of these exercises as well, which is going to be better for the full body as opposed to sitting on a machine and doing something. We can incorporate some isolation exercises to target certain body parts. So we can target the biceps, which is like the front part of your arm here, with some basic curls, which you can do with barbells and dumbbells as well. But again, I'm just going to show you what you can do with cables. And also the back of the arms, if you want to call them the bingo wings. A lot of the girls in here call them bingo wings, so I'll call them bingo wings as well. We can even target this area across here. And again, the girls in the gym here, they call this the bra strap area. And they always say that they want to get rid of the fat that hangs over the bra strap. And we use the cables for a lot of that stuff as well. And I'm going to show you these exercises on the cables when we come to it. So it would be ideal at some point. I know some of you, like Lisa, who's in Williams, Lisa, who's in Wales, their gyms aren't open yet. I'm not too sure about Scotland. I think the US, you can go to the gyms. So if you're able to get to a gym, I would get to a gym for cable day, and especially if you don't have much equipment at home. Some of these can be altered, and I will show you we'll show you a home version as well. So don't worry about that if you're at home and you don't want to get to the gym, when you can't get to the gym. I'll be able to show you how you can target these areas, these body parts at home or in the gym. But just for the sake of this demonstration, I'll talk about the cables. And we'll also talk about the stomach, which I'll talk about as well. How you can use the cable machines to get a good stomach workout, so you don't have to do sit-ups or anything on the mat. You can use the cables to do that. And you can also hit your shoulders and your chest as well. What you've mentioned, you're looking for some variations to the bench press. Can't remember who it was exactly, but I'll show you an exercise you can do in the cables, which is a variation to a bench press, which allows you to get onto your feet and work the same areas like the shoulders and the chest. Okay, so those are the exercises for certain body parts, which I'm going to touch on cable day, but I'll do a home version as well. And it will all piece together at the end of the challenge when I go through like the full body workout at the end and how you can all piece it together. But what I want to do in this video is just talk briefly about how you can plan a workout at beginner level for building strength and inch loss, how you can get that routine, how do you structure it from the ground up. So you're coming into the gym, what exactly do you do as a beginner trying to build strength and tone? Excuse me. Well, first of all, at beginner level, I would suggest 3 times per week training to start with, maybe even 2 to 3, it depends. If you just haven't been training because of the lockdown, but previously you've done a fair bit of training, you could probably go on it 3 times a week. But if you're a complete beginner and you haven't done anything for a long time or ever when it comes to weights, you can start at 2 training sessions per week. Now the exercises you want to do, funnily enough, are the ones that we're teaching you in this challenge. That's the whole point of it. So you want to target in the full body. Again, I'm going to talk about this more in the full body day, but you want to be working each individual area. But by doing the minimum amount of like time in the gym and also exercises, so like the deadlift, for example, I'll just write dead for now, that's going to hit the bum, legs, and back. Alright, squat, that's going to hit your legs. And by the way, this is an order I would do as well. Well, you want to start with the most complex, most energy training exercise that uses the most muscles, and then work your way down. That's a general rule. Some people do it differently, you can do it differently. It's just a general rule. If we're talking at beginner level, if we're talking about just having a structure and having a routine and getting something started, something you can run with, this is what we do here. So squats again, we work the legs. After these 2 alone, you know, you're going to be feeling it, especially as you start to progress and you start to lift heavier, you're going to start feeling it from this. And then I would work into the bench press. And you start to notice the pattern here, by the way. But again, I told you, it'll all piece together towards the end. Where am I right in pressing? It'll all piece together and make sense at the end, which I'll elaborate more. But because I was looking through your surveys and I thought, I'll talk about this today, just to give you some help if you are thinking about beyond the challenge and what to do. So bench press, again, so chest, shoulders, and you'll be working your arms as well. Then you could do some back exercises after this, so some bent over rows, some seated rows if you want, cable rows. Don't worry if you don't know all the names, we're going to go through all of these, it'll all become clear. Cable rows, things like that, and then an overhead press. And a couple of you mentioned about the overhead press movement and sort of getting that right and doing exercises over your head. And I'll be talking about that when we explain how to do an overhead press. Again, the training videos come out 6 AM every day. That's where I'll go in detail about the technique, the form, the reps, the sets, and giving you just something to start with and get going. That's what this is all about. So that's kind of a good little structure to start with, just to begin with. And then you can do a little bit of the cables if you've got a gym, access to the gym, / arms, you know, there's ways you can do arms with dumbbells, things like that. And then stomach and core. Now, you don't have to do all of these exercises in one given workout. It's quite, in fact, I would probably split this up, but that's kind of like a structure of how you go into it. So, for example, you could maybe focus, Monday you'll do this, and then give like the lower body a bit of a rest there, and maybe we'll just work on this, and then maybe on the 3rd day we could just do that. Or if you're starting at beginner level and your weights are really light, and you know you're practicing, you could probably fit all these into one session. Or maybe you could just choose one of them, and then maybe one of them, or maybe 2 of them. You could probably maybe just choose one of them because they're quite intense. You might not do both of them on the same day. might choose one and then go into this, or things like that. I'm just going to see if there's any questions before I go any further. Morning, Caroline. Can you lift these on the post, please? No offence, Carl. No worries, I'll do that. Can I just ask what's the good? Yeah, I'm going to get onto the nutrition, Marcy. I'll be a sec. Bad knees and planking really hurts them. No problem, Kay. I'll talk about that in a sec as well. How on earth can you not read my writing? That looks amazing. Looking at this angle, the writing looks even better than what I thought. So deadlifts and squat on the same day, Marcia's asking. You can do, especially in the early stages when you're using light weights. There's no harm in doing that, no harm whatsoever, because you're doing maybe 2 or 3 sets, the weight's really light, it's not that intense in terms of you're not wiped out with it. But when you start to progress and you're starting to lift heavier and heavier and heavier, deadlift especially, you'll wipe you out after you're done. Now you might have enough energy to do a squat, but you don't feel as though you have to. It's just kind of an example of how you can structure it if you wanted to. Especially in the beginning stages, in the early stages, when it's really, really light and low intensity, you probably could do them on the same day at this stage, but just bearing in mind that these two are probably the most intense ones, so you might, when you start getting on and doing it more often, you might feel as though you need to do them on separate days for the workout to be most effective as well. What was the other question? Yes, yeah, I'll do that on the post. Yeah, I'm going to touch on the sets in a sec. Becky, good to eat a train in the morning. Right, I'll do the how many plus sets. Right, I'll do the sets. So reps and sets, like I've been saying in the video, 10 to 12 reps, 2 to 4 sets. And this depends on your level of experience and your comfort with the workout as well. Could maybe start by doing 2 sets, 10 reps. If you're a real beginner, you've done nothing, I would probably start with that. And then just work your way up, and that's where the progression comes in. You start to do more sets, start to increase the weight. And it gets a bit complex, but for the sake of just giving you something to run with, that's what I would suggest. There's a lot more to it. It gets complex, but to begin with, that's all I would say. Gym in this morning must have been deadlifting 100 kilo plus. Exactly, that'll wipe you out. That would wipe you out. So, but then again, she might be able to handle doing the squat afterwards. It just depends. So yeah, sets covered there. I'll list them on the post. Yeah, food, that was covered as well. So this is the last point I'll be just on nutrition. If there's any more questions, I'll answer them. And yeah, I'll put that in post, so don't worry about it being lost. Well, good to eat or train early in the morning. It's a preference thing, really, to be honest with you. The important thing to consider, well, in the early stages, at this stage, especially if you're a beginner and you're not training at a very high intensity, I wouldn't worry about it too much at this stage. When you start training more and more and you start to become training more intense, it's going to be more important to think about what you're eating before and after a workout, because it's going to be more important for the energy of the workout, for the repair of the workout. So in the morning, my go-to anyway, and what I will suggest with clients, is a black coffee and branched chain amino acids. And this is if you're training intensely. So you can get these from My Protein. I've got a tub I'll show you actually. You can get these from My Protein, which are pretty straightforward to buy. They're quite cheap as well. But again, this is when you're starting to progress. You can start looking into these things first thing in the morning. That's me, and this is, so you're pretty much empty stomach. But again, it depends. It could be a preference thing. Some people can't train on an empty stomach, so therefore it's got to be a protein source and maybe a little bit of carbs. So maybe you could have some eggs, scrambled, hard-boiled, however you like to have them. Maybe with some OJ and or a nana. If you feel like you need the energy and the kick. Remember, as you're starting to progress and you're starting to train lifting heavier weights, you'll start to need that energy in the mornings or at any point in the workout. In the early stages, when you're training using light weights, you're not burning that much energy at the moment, so there's no real need to be super specific or tailored with your nutrition. But beyond this challenge, and as you start to progress and you start to work harder and harder and harder, and you start to lift more, this is where this becomes more important. Again, it's also about like being in tune with your body and understanding what you need. So some mornings you might feel as though you need something, some mornings you might feel as though you might not. It just depends, you know. It can come, and that's the kind of thing that we work on in the program, which I'll talk about later, is sort of tailoring things to your individual needs based on what you need as you go on. All right, so I'll put this into a post. If there's any more questions, I'll answer them. But in the meantime, I'm going to do the prize draw for the people who posted a screenshot of them learning in the group or on social media. I appreciate that. Thank you very much for that. It was great. And I'm going to do the draw for that. I'm just going to check you can see this. So I might have to do a couple of rounds of this. I wasn't thinking there's less people doing it. So I might have to do it a couple of times before I hit a name, because not every name is covered on that thing. If you don't drink our coffee, Moss, yeah, then just water. Water on your BCAAs, and that's it. You don't overthink it. Don't think it has to be that you have to have coffee or tea. It's just, you know, that was just something you can do. But don't worry about it too much. The most important thing is to just being aware of it and thinking about what you might need on any given training day. That's just some general best practices. All right, so here we go. So for posting a screenshot in the group or on social media, if you learn any flow, yeah, we'll spread that out. Here we go. This is exciting. Oh, it is literally, oh no, it's just in on Pauline. That is just in on Pauline, but from your angle, it might look like it's dead on the line, but I promise it is just in on Pauline. So well done, Pauline, great effort. You're going to be winning a Fit&Vital Life t-shirt. So I'll shoot you a message, I'll get your address, and I'll send that over to you. Now, if you want any more help with all this stuff, you know, the accountability to keep it up after the challenge, the last thing I want you to do is get the buzz of this challenge, do a bit of exercise, and then when it's over, just stop or eventually slow down. So I hope you keep it up and do it, and you can absolutely take everything you're learning here, do it on your own and get a decent result, providing you stick to it and you continue to learn and continue to progress. But if you need some accountability and some help to do that beyond this challenge, there's a link above this video, and you can check out the program. If you feel as though this is helping you want more, check out the program using the link above, and I'll see you on there. But this isn't over yet. We've still got more Q&As, we've still got more exercises, we've still got more stuff to share and help. More prizes to be won as well. So if there's any more questions, have a quick check now before we go. But if not, I'll follow up with any questions throughout the day, and I'll be looking at the bench presses today and give you some feedback on that as well. So make sure you get your post in. And by the way, if you end up winning a spot on this program, you know, that's fine. But I wouldn't wait out to try and win a spot, because I'm not taking on loads of people in this program. So if you're holding out to maybe win one and then you don't win one but then want to join and then there's not enough space, that'll be a nightmare. If you do win, then I'll just refund the money anyway, so it's totally fine. All right, I'll see you soon. Have a good day, girls.